Hey everybody, it's Casual Boobs coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be covering the Panzer 5-4. It's a tier 5 tank that's a premium German medium tank, and it is one of the most brokenly overpowered tanks tier for tier in the game. I think this is probably the most toxic. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of toxic low tier tanks, but this is probably the worst defender. The Lef is a close second, I think, but this one is really like when you have this thing on the enemy team, you really need to look out for it. It's really good. It's got it's a tier 5 with pref matchmaking, so it'll never see tier 7 games unless you platoon badly with it, and it totally does not need pref matchmaking. Like, I don't know, they must have given it that and then they like buffed it super hard, and so now it's better than a lot of tier 5 tanks that in fact it might be among the best tier 5 tanks in the game, and it's got pref matchmaking for some reason. So anyways, super broken, and it's really kind of hard to get your hands on it. You can only get it at like the black market things, and it was, yeah, it's hard to get. So if you get the opportunity and you like clubbing seals, this is the thing to pony up for, and we'll get into it. So okay, so before we get into the stats, I just wanted to say, a lot of people say, "Oh, why? What do you mean? How people are going to complain? They're going to say, oh, no, this thing that you think is the most broken and most overpowered is definitely not the case." So here's some empirical evidence, right? If you go to tomato.gg, you can sort tanks by marks of excellence requirements and stuff. And so right now, I've got every tier 5, 6, and 7 premium tank listed from the requirements, like top down from the requirements. So the hardest one to do of those is the Skoda T45, and that's probably mostly because this is the one from ranked that sucks, that it's like it's hard to get, and it's also not very good, but it's hard to get. So the people that are getting it really want to try hard. Like this one, yeah, there's hardly anybody playing it, which is why these curves are so skewed. So right behind it is our Panzer 5-4 buddy. In order to 3-mark this thing, you need almost 2600 average, right? Which is higher than every other tier 7, 6, and 5 tank, premium tank in the game. Like, yeah, we'll just do all of them. So just to put that in perspective for you, this tier 5 tank has higher marks of excellence requirements than almost every single tier 5, 6, and 7 tank in the game. So there you go. Now, I know a lot of times people are going to say, well, marks of excellence don't always matter because, new tanks that are very new almost always have higher than normal marks of excellence requirements because all the good players play them, and so the requirements are up and they fall off over time. This tank has been in the game for years. This is not a new phenomenon. This is not going anywhere. This is just how good the tank is. So there we go. There's your evidence. Yeah, we don't need to say any more about that. So onto the stats. So it's a yes, there's an alpha version for alpha testers. That's I don't even know anybody that has that except for sheriff accounts mostly, because most of those people don't play the game anymore. But the Panzer 5-4, it's got a little pew 7.5 centimeter gun, does 110 damage, pretty good DPM. And again, these you got to adjust your mindset to tier 5, where everything's a little bit different, right? The gun is surprisingly okay, right? It pews pretty good. The penetration's fine. The gun is just fine. It is fairly mobile, right? 55 top speed with 18 power to weight. It's okay. It's pretty good. And decent ground resistances. It's got 10 degrees of gun depression for some reason. And 365 view range is not great, but you've got your standard 5-man German crew, and it's a premium, so it's pretty easy to drop a really good German medium crew into this thing and have all the crew skills. So if you have, it's not very hard to have a full, a really well-trained crew in this thing. So now you're sitting at almost 400, and again, this is at tier 5. So this seems bad, but it's really good compared to what everybody else has. Like a KV1 has what, like 350 or something like that? Like really bad, I think. I'm not gonna stay on topic. Squirrel. So the tank is very good. It's mobile. It's got good. Okay. We'll go to the armor, right? There's really it's just a good all around, fairly quick. It plays a lot like an E50 kind of, because it's got a fairly good hull and a fairly weak turret. And so we'll talk about the armor. The armor, the namesake explains the armor, right? The Panzer 5/4. What this is a Panzer 5 turret which I believe is the actual turret of the Panther, the tier 7 Panther. I could be wrong about that. But it's the I think it's the tier 5 Panther or tier 7 Panther turret hull, excuse me, tier 7 Panther hull with a Panzer 4 with the derp gun turret on the top. So the turret is cheese and it's crap. And so if you ever need to, like, if you find yourself playing against one of these, just shoot it in the face and you'll be good. If you try to shoot it in the lower plate, it depends on what you're shooting at with, and if you shoot in the upper plate, you're just not going in. And now I have to know. I'm sorry, another tangent, but I'm very curious now. Panzer 7 or the Panther hull. It is actually. I mean, this is the gun shooting itself. So it is it's 85 millimeters, and it's angled at it's 85 millimeters angled. This is 85. Yes. Okay. So it is. It is the tier 7 Panther hull, which is, you know, when you stick that down 2 tiers at tier 5 is really good. And so yes, the hull is really good, and that also means the armor is pretty good, which means it is really, really good at ramming, right? So this is all you need to know about the armor. The lower plate maybe, but definitely just shoot it in the turret or this giant cupola weak spot. And so I think at some point somebody at Wargaming was like, well, the turret is so bad and the cupola is so big that maybe this will be fine. It's not fine. This tank is stupid. But yes, it is. Where's the weight? Where's the weight of it? Oh my god. I don't know where it is. As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to remember, and I'm going to point to it. But the point is, here we go. 40,000 kilograms. It's 40 tons, which is really heavy. It's a Panther, right? Which I think a lot of people consider the Panther a heavy tank because of the weight of it. So it's a freaking heavy chassis with good frontal armor on the hull, and it goes 55 with good power to weight and good traverse and everything else. So like you can see the writing on the wall here is ramming in this thing is absolutely broken, among other things. So anyways, that's the armor. Equipment. We're going to get into equipment now. So this is again going to kind of depend on what you want to do with this. If you are going to go full memes and you're going to ram things, a lot of people would say run a spall liner, but I don't think you get one of those at this tier. You do get a spall liner, but here's the thing. The worst thing you can have when you ram things is getting tracked just before you ram things. So for that reason, if you're going to do a ramming loadout, I would do hardening, and then I would do a turbo, and there are no improved slots. There's no field mods in this, so there's none of that. And then probably at that point it's grousers, right, for the traverse, because if somebody jukes you, then you can whatever. This is the full meme, and then at that point you might even consider taking off, putting on gas. I don't recommend this, right, because this will make you laugh, and of course you need to have it's not in, doesn't make any difference because it's not here, but the crew skill you need to have is the one for ramming, the one controlled impact, that one. It probably wouldn't hurt to have off-road driving, probably wouldn't hurt to have clutch braking. It's all trying to make it so that people can't escape you, right? So that you have this traverse that's high enough that you can, if somebody tries to juke you, you can still get them. That's crucial, right? But that brings your power to weight up to 20. I'm not recommending this. This will make you laugh occasionally, but probably is not the best for winning games. For winning games, then if you're gonna like full on try hard, then how I would do this is probably like, I still think I'd run a turbo because it just helps a lot, and it can actually reach its upper, whatever, its upper top speed. Rammer, of course, because yes. And at that point, I think it's optics. It's optics, even if you have a good crew, because that's the only way you get above 445. And especially at tier 5, where most tanks don't have really good view range, most tanks don't have very good camouflage. Being the one person that does have above 445 view range means that you are the one that spots, which means that when the people shoot those things, you are the one that gets the spotting assistance. This is your way to maximize your impact on the game. This is what I would do. You could probably make an argument for, if you have like standard vents without an improved slot kind of sucks. So I don't know necessarily if I would go with this, unless if you have a pink one or a purple one, God forbid, you'd seal clubber. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. Things keep moving around. This is also conceivable and reasonable. There's no vertical stabilizer at tier 5 for medium tanks, or at least not this one anyways. And so yeah, there's just not a lot of good equipment choices. So this is where I would go with it. And I also spam a lot of gold in this thing because why not? 110 penetration is kind of right? It can work, right? But when you've got access to 158, why would you not? Uh, but you don't have to. You don't have to. Um, so, without further ado, we'll get into the gameplay. Okay. All right. So in this game, we're going to be watching Thunder playing in his Panzer 5.4, and there's only tier 5s, or as the highest tier is tier 5s. We're playing on Mountain Pass. There's 2 artilleries per side. There are tier 4s in the game. This is kind of dirty. But again, this is not that uncommon. This is not like this tank, because it can't see tier 7s. It's not uncommon to see games like this where you see a bunch of nummy tier 4s that you get to farm. And I apologize for the lack of engine noises. Coding is really hard. Wargaming is an independent indie studio, and this is a game is fairly new, so you'll have to be fairly just patient with them while they work out the kinks. And they figure out how to get their, their brand new game to work and get the replay system to work. And so, anyways, without, we'll just kind of ignore it. Thunder's floating through space. Tanks don't make any noise anyways, right? The real low noise exhaust was in our hearts all along. But we're just waiting here to try to see if we can spot somebody crossing and see if we can get some free damage. And Thunder carries a lot. It does carry a lot of ammo, right? It's 70 AP, 60 APCR, and 20 HE rounds is just a silly amount. It just carries a lot of ammo because reasons. A lot of low-tier tanks are like that. I get the feeling that Wargaming doesn't want people to have a bad experience. Playing at low tiers anyways, or mid tiers, but a lot of tanks at higher tiers are balanced by their ammo, which is very annoying. But if you're looking at the map, always keep an eye on the mini-map, and that's why it's so large. The ice road, right, the north side is not looking great, and I think Thunder has just now realized that. There's normally the ways that you can resist this, right? You can, if you have people on the bridge, they can shoot down at the ice road. But we don't have that, right? Our Simovente is suppressed by a bunch of stuff, whatever's happening there. And we had just a couple tanks, but they were very outmatched and they were dying very quickly, so they've lost. They're dead. There's nothing stopping the guys going up the ice road. But what you're about to see here, Thunder's going to go and he's going to try to put himself in the way, which is a good play. This is definitely the way to farm a bunch of damage, and also the best way to it's just not hard to counter, right? This is why I never recommend going ice road. Ice road being, of course, the 9-0 line here on this map. It's just crap. It's almost always crap because it's so easy to counter, right? If you just don't go where our guys on the map all went to one spot and then they died. If you don't do that, it's really, really easy to counter, and Thunder's about to show you why. So you just get to sit here and yada yada yada, and we're gonna line up. He's using the bushes so that he gets a less chance of being spotted, because if you can see through the bushes, that means that the bushes go away when you shoot. And so because Thunder is now he's trying to make sure that that he's not shooting while the bushes are see-through. But again, I think it's probably that P26 or these other guys that have spotted him. And that was not a clear shot, so we're able to rock back and forth and use the suspension to get even more gun depression, which is kind of fascinating, even though it does have 10 degrees everywhere, so that's really nice. Again, we're just farming, right? And now, even if they have pushed, they're down the hill from Thunder. So, like, Thunder's gonna try hard, and I think he was trying to 3-mark this thing at that point, so if it were me, I would have a hard time not, running in there and ramming something, because that's why I play this tank. Whenever I do, it's because I want to kill something from full health without shooting it. But Thunder's not going to do that. He's going to do it right. He's going to play it conservatively, and he's going to farm these guys because, Artie, because this is what this map is. It's very hard for them to win once you have this hill, or if you have this hill. It doesn't take a lot of help. Right, you don't need a lot of help to suppress this entire push. And just like that, Thunder had a couple tanks helping him, but for the most part, he just countered that entire push by himself. He's got 3 kills, 1,700 damage. He's racked it up already. And we're just farming, just pew pew pew, and taking down tanks. And he's got 4 kills now, 5 kills now, 1 hit point on that kill. This B1 has no idea what's happening. I mean, and by the way, Thunder has not shot any gold yet, which is that much more remarkable. I was gonna say, like, when he posted this replay, I was like, dude, if you just spammed gold, then I'm not sure if I'm gonna post it, because this is, it's a lot easier. It's what I do. I spam gold and I don't even feel bad about it. But it's less impressive. Thunder has not shot any gold at all and has still managed to farm 6 kills, 2,400 damage. And I won't say he's carried the team, but he definitely he stopped that entire push. There was one light tank with him and an artillery, so not a lot of help that he had. And now it's cleanup time, right? They still have 2 arty, the 14 TP and a KV1. There's a lot of hit points left, right? 14 TP is getting farmed, but actually the BDR doesn't look very good. BDR is probably going to die because he's a one-shot. But they've got this crossfire set up, so Thunder doesn't want to get in there because that's where everybody's going. The B1 is going there, the P26 is going there. So once, like, all those guys are all going to the same spot, and it's not very easy, it's not very hard to set up a crossfire to counter that. So Thunder is, I think, wisely taking the long way around, but he's also, like, this tank is not slow, so he can afford to be doing this and be quick about it. And so, you know, if those guys manage to push out of that, then great. But if they don't, then the team will be glad that he went this way. And I can never keep track of German gun marks. Does he have 3 marks in that, or is it 2? Because 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think he might have 3 marked this already. Suffice to say that he knows what he's doing, right? Because the mark requirements in this thing are so high. Yeah. Anyways, so we're just driving around, and we're gonna go and put some HE rounds into the butts of some unsuspecting artillery, some poor defenseless unsuspecting artillery. And it's good that we did this because the artillery, shot and killed one of our dudes. That's not good. So the HE rounds are useful, especially at these low tiers. They can actually pen things, and it's working pretty well. So right now, that's 175 every 4 seconds or whatever it is. It feels pretty good. Oh, baby. There we go. Okay. So now we're back to AP rounds, and it's basically us. This guy's getting, he's not really doing super well because the KV1 has the high ground, but now we have the high ground on him, so we get to farm. Just get to farm, and aiming for the track to keep him tracked, and, okay, there we go. 9 kills, 3,500 damage, and where is the 14 TP? Anyone's guess? We have no idea. We have no idea where the 14 TP is. So, I think... Oh, is he here? This is the part where, like, having 6th Sense would help a lot because... or he does have 6th Sense, but this is the situation where having 6th Sense does help a lot because if the enemy tank can see you, then you get spotted, and that will tell you that the enemy tank is nearby. And so that's in these endgame scenarios where you're trying to, like, figure out where somebody's hiding. Having the 6th Sense to help you figure out where somebody is hiding because they've spotted you is very, very useful. So Thunder's going to drive around and try to find the 14 TP, and I'm going to fast forward this. We can watch this in fast forward speed now. Oh, and just there, Thunder has been spotted. So that tells him the information that the enemy tank is nearby. He could be up on the top of the hill, or he could be back in the weeds there. We don't exactly know yet, but Thunder is going to find out. Spotted again. Interesting. I don't know why that 14 TP didn't start shooting. Like, yeah, so he's not on the top of the hill. So Thunder knows he's got to be down that way somewhere. And now he's got a big run. So, like, this guy's going to get totally ganked. And then we're spotted again. Exactly. So, like, good job hiding. Honestly, that guy probably could have done pretty well with this if he had just, I don't know, put himself behind a rock so he couldn't do the spotting, maybe? I don't know. Alright, so at the end of the game, Thunder ended up taking home 3,500 damage, 10 kills. That was, of course, an ace tanker, the high caliber, the top gun. There's a Pools medal in there. There's a Pascucci's for the 2 artillery kills. Just a boatload of XP, and that was 2,000 base XP, which is just a super hard carry. Just, I mean, pretty incredible. Shout out to that KV1 on the enemy team too. He also had, I mean, 2,000 damage is nothing to snuff at. So yeah, fantastic game. And he did end up taking, because he didn't shoot a whole lot of premium rounds, he almost shot almost no premium rounds. Thunder ended up taking home 83,000 credits. That can't be right. Looks like 60,000 minus. It should be, something's messed up here with the whatever it is, the website. But I bet it's probably closer to 55,000 credits, which, you know, probably would have been less if he, you know, but he bought his consumables on discount and had them in advance and stuff. But anyways, fantastic game by Thunder. Thanks for sending in the replay. I appreciate it. And hopefully this has incentivized you. If you are a SEAL clubber at heart, the next time they offer the Panzer 5.4, go ahead and snap it up because it is fantastically broken. I have one, and I would still rather see it nerfed because it is not good for the game. It's pretty unfun to play against. So anyways, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. All right.